Ezra here, and welcome to Dax's Desk, a place where we can come to connect and communicate about all things organization, planning, productivity, and of course, study. So for me, it's about halfway through the first week of uni, and I thought I'd share with you guys just a couple of advanced study tips that have made me become a better student. So number one is to use spaced repetition, and this includes having an actual schedule to keep tabs on how you're going throughout the semester, and also using some sort of cue card system, whether that be online. So personally, I use Quizlet a lot. I'll sometimes use Anki for anatomy or physiology if I need to put diagrams, or even chemistry if I need to put pictures of chemical molecules. Anki is really good for that. But if it's surrounding words, then I would choose Quizlet. If you prefer handwriting cue cards, that's fine. Just give yourself a little more time to actually handwrite those cue cards and have a box system where you start off in the first box, and as you learn the material, you move it to the second, to the third, and to the fourth. So with the spaced repetition study schedule, I would suggest having your first exposure, which is on day 1. Then that's when you actually revise your material on the same day, and you make your cue cards on that day if you can. Day 2 is after 24 hours of the first exposure, and what you got to do is you got to learn all your material for your cue cards for that one module or lecture. A week later, that's your third exposure, and you'll see, do I actually remember some of this stuff? And if you don't, then move it back to box 1. Lastly, if you can, try and review it a month later. Now, if you have a test coming up, you want to use this spaced repetition method, and you've got a test in maybe 2 weeks, then look online and look for spaced repetition study schedules, and they'll show you how to basically format your schedule in regards to how much time you have available to you. So number 2 is what to do with practice exams. So for practice exams in uni, I usually don't get very many. So the ones I do get, I'm very grateful for. I will always do them even if they're, 5+ years back, because a lot of the times the questions will be very similar, or they may even be reused some of the time. So what I do is I do the practice exam under time conditions if I can. If you've got about 10 or so practice exams, don't worry about doing them under time conditions in the beginning, because you'll have practice exams to spare later on. So after doing them, I will sit down, try and mark them if I have answers. If I don't, I get together with some friends, mark it with them, and go over my answers and try and consolidate correct answers for each question. After this, I'll note down which topics I need to improve on and which topics I actually am very strong in. So if I note these down, that means I won't actually have to waste time studying them when I could actually be studying other topics that I like. So a couple of days before the exam, I'll take out these practice exam papers and just review them once more in case my lecturers who are writing the exam actually copy down some of the questions from previous years. So my third tip is to do with note taking, and I would stress to just listen when you're in lectures. It's really, really easy to try and take down every single word that the professor says, but it's not that helpful. So my tip on note taking is not to really take notes unless you really need to. If you're emphasizing something, or if you are just saying something for your own understanding later on, then that's good. But if you find yourself just writing down exactly word for word what the professor says, regardless of if it's on the slides or not, then I'd say you're wasting your time during lectures, and you will actually retain less information than if you just sat and listened. So my fourth tip isn't really a tip, but it's just something that I've learnt over the past 1.5 years in university, and that is being busy doesn't necessarily mean you're being productive. but being busy can actually help you be more productive. So if that doesn't make sense, what I'm trying to say is if you have an entire day to yourself and a list of tasks to do, you're more likely to procrastinate because you have nothing pressing, no events, nothing on your sort of social calendar. I would probably schedule 1 or 2 things during the day so that I know, okay, I have to study this because I've got a prior commitment. So for example, when I was studying for SWOT-VAC, a lot of the time I would schedule in some time with my boyfriend about 5 to 6 p.m. In the day, and I would do this because it would actually give me motivation to study. And I said, okay, if I finish all the things on my to-do list, then I can go visit him. And it worked every time. So those are my advanced study tips on how to be a successful student. If you like this video, please subscribe to my channel. I'll be very appreciative, and I wish you all the best. Good luck. See ya.